Hello there, people of the internet. Today, I'm out here to give 22 long rifle a little bit of praise. Whenever I talk about 22 long rifle to anybody, they are either all for 22 long rifle and they think it's the absolute greatest thing in the world and they will just walk into the gates of hell armed with 22 long rifle and expect to beat, everything. And yet, on the opposite end of the spectrum, whenever I talk to people who are not a fan of 22 long rifle, they basically say, hey, you may as well go out and get yourself a pellet gun because it will be more effective than your 22 long rifle ammunition. So where do I fall on that category? I think 22 long rifle is fantastic. I think it's got its limitations, and even the people who praise 22 long rifle know it has its limitations. But I also believe it is dramatically underappreciated or underestimated. That's the word I'm looking for. It is dramatically underestimated. I would not trust it in a self-defense situation to save my life and stopping immediate threat, but I know for a fact that it could be used for exactly that, especially if you manage proper shot placement. In the heat of the moment, if you have somebody coming at you, especially if they're armed, you don't even necessarily always get proper sight alignment, let alone proper shot placement. So yeah, that's not necessarily always going to be a factor that plays into using 22 long rifle for a defensive situation. But there are a lot of pros that come with the 22 long rifle. So typically speaking, if we're talking about your bulk, average 22 long rifle stuff, the general run-of-the-mill 22 long rifle ammunition, it's going to be traveling around 1,000 to 1,200 feet per second, depending on your barrel length. And that is not some insignificant velocity. That is a 40 grain projectile traveling at about 1,000 to 1,200 feet per second, depending on what barrel it is that you are rocking. That being said, think back, way back before smokeless powder was even a thing. Think about black powder and the velocities achieved through black powder. 1,000 feet per second to 1,200 feet per second was a pretty average velocity for a lot of your projectiles being fired with black powder. Well, for example, the 1860 Colt Navy, it's a 38 caliber. It fires a 67 grain round ball at about 1,000 feet per second, and there were plenty of people that were put into the dirt with something like that. So those velocities are absolutely enough to take somebody out. Now, whether or not they're enough to take somebody out with enough energy transfer to immediately stop them from what they're doing, that is a different discussion, but it is absolutely enough to take somebody out. And if that's not enough velocity for you, you can go out and get yourself something like CCI Stingers or some high velocity 22 long rifle ammunition, and that will pump out 22 long rifle at 15 to 1,600 feet per second, depending on your barrel length. And that is some substantial velocity. I believe that those are 32 grain projectiles traveling at some pretty crazy speeds. So that is absolutely enough energy transfer down on the target to be able to handle whatever situation it is you are needing to handle. Now, it's not going to penetrate body armor. We're not exactly rocking 50 BMG rounds over here. But still, a 32 grain projectile at 1,600 feet per second, that's pretty substantial. So yeah, 22 long rifle has the capabilities. And for the average shooter, 22 long rifle can be effective out to about 150 yards. Most of what it is that you're needing to do is going to take place within that 150 yards and in. I wouldn't exactly call 22 long rifle a sniper round. You're not going to go clink and steel with it at 1,000 yards or anything like that, or shooting soda cans at 710 yards, right? But within 150 yards or so, most of your people are going to be able to make shots. There are some people out there who can make very accurate shots out at farther distances with that, especially if they're using quality ammunition. Whenever it comes to 22 long rifle, the accuracy that you get and the capabilities of the projectile oftentimes is dictated by the ammunition that you get. You get what you pay for. If you buy just cheap, bottom of the barrel, bulk surplus, well, not surplus, but bulk 22 long rifle that you buy the big boxes of 550 rounds for $30 or something like that, the odds of you getting ammunition that's going to be consistently accurate and have consistent velocities is a lot lower than if you were to go out and get yourself some matched 22 long rifle or some stuff that is a little bit more expensive. Now, one of the main pros of 22 long rifle is that it is quite cheap. So if you go spending more money on 22 long rifle, then you kind of negate the cheap factor, so that is one thing that you got to take into account. However, 22 long rifle is also very small. I have me, let's see, that's seven rounds of 22 long rifle ammunition right here, and that is a very, very tiny amount of ammo. There's a bug crawling on my camera. But one of the primary go-tos whenever people are talking about this 22 long rifle is that they can carry, you know, 1,000 rounds of this stuff right here and it not weigh very much in comparison to like carrying 1,000 rounds of 223 or 1,000 rounds of 7.62 by 39. You're going to get tired of that 1,000 rounds really, really quickly. So the size of the 22 long rifle is absolutely one of the best features about it. The price, yeah, if you're getting the bulk stuff, but like I said, there are limitations with that. If you do get the bulk stuff, you get what you pay for. Now, plenty of people have been taken out by 22 long rifle. If you manage to hit the, you know, computer systems of the human body or the pump systems of the human body, the 22 long rifle will take things out very, very rapidly. And not just humans. I have seen boars dispatched with 22 long rifle, small game, coyotes and whatnot. I have seen 22 long rifle take deer here in the state of Florida. Granted, our deer are not that big. They typically get around 150 pounds. But with proper shot placement, the 22 long rifle is absolutely capable of doing what it needs to do. Ballistically speaking, out at long ranges, you might have some trouble. Out at about 150 yards or so, your general run-of-the-mill bulk box 22 long rifle is gonna drop about 30 inches. If you get some faster velocity stuff, of course, that faster velocity stuff is going to hit the target sooner than the slower velocity stuff, so it's going to drop less. But generally speaking, out at about 150 yards, if you aim for this area of something, you're gonna hit about this area of something, so that is definitely effective enough to be able to handle things out at those distances, and most of what it is that you're going to have to take care of is going to take place at those distances, assuming that you're accurate enough. I am not very accurate at all. I'm gonna see if I can hit my steel with some 22 long rifle here. Hey, I actually hit it. Now this right here is just bulk box ammo, and I actually accuracy tested it out of this handgun before, and it's not very accurate at long distances out of this handgun, and we're at about 40 yards, so I would expect, with this bulk stuff, 4-inch spread maybe 5. Combine me shooting it offhand, and we're probably getting more about an 8-inch spread down there. But hey, I'm still hitting my target, so I'm doing something right. Okay, that was actually a lot of fun. Now, 22 long rifle is not the most reliable system, but since you get so much of it for not a whole lot, if you have an issue with reliability, just get that old round out and put a new round in. This right here is a single action revolver. There are plenty of automatic systems out there, magazine fed systems that rock 22 long rifle so you can reload nice and quickly. This is not an accurate representation on how slow or fast it is to load a 22 long rifle system. Now, 22 long rifle, one of the biggest downsides of it, something I really dislike, is the fact that it's not reloadable because it is a rimfire cartridge. Rimfire cartridge means that the priming compound is inside of the rim of the cartridge rather than in a center fire cap that would be on the back of the cartridge. However, that is negated with the extremely minimal price range on this thing. Yeah, you can't reload it, but man, you can get a lot of it for not a lot of money. And depending on the brand, it can be pretty reliable. Now, the bulk stuff, you might have some duds in that box, but whenever it comes to a little bit more expensive 22 long rifle, still cheaper than your other kinds of ammunition, you tend to get a lot more reliability out of those particular rounds. Man, this thing is really cool. I'm just having the best time shooting this at this steel. With 22 long rifle, it's a good training round, not a lot of recoil, not a lot of cost. This video is not making me, or not costing me a whole lot of money because I'm just running a couple of 22 long rifle rounds down at my target there. It really is a fantastic round to teach people how to shoot because they won't develop a flinch because of the lack of recoil. Alright, well, there's all the 22 long rifle that I had out here. Now, depending on your system, of course, your rifle, you know, your capabilities, your setup, your sights, your everything, is going to determine how accurate it is that you actually are. There is accurate 22 long rifle out there. Whenever I hear people say 22 long rifle is inaccurate out at long distances, I try to remind them that it all depends on the ammunition that you decide to go out and use. And whenever I have people that say 22 long rifle is incapable, there's plenty of people in the ground from 22 long rifle. Now, there are definitely more capable cartridges out there, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying 22 long rifle is like a cannonball by any stretch of the imagination, but it will absolutely damage a target enough to be able to take it down. Now, one of the main reasons why 22 long rifle has taken out so many people and so many animals and so many things is because it is extremely popular. Even the people who are not like gun guys, or even the family who does not want much to do with guns at all, most people, most Americans, if they own a gun, it's either going to be a shotgun or a 22 long rifle. One of those two things, those are definitely way more predominant here in the United States than basically everything else. If somebody owns some sort of firearm, it's going to be one of those. With the exception of maybe some of the people that own just a defensive handgun and that is all that they care about. That is also a definite possibility. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have said all I have to say here. Don't underestimate 22 long rifle. Don't put an unbelievable amount of like God-fearing faith into the 22 long rifle and just assume that every round you send downrange is going to be the equivalency of a nuclear explosion. I mean, as long as you know the limitations of the round it is that you have, and you're not dismissing the pros of the 22 long rifle, and you know what it is that you are dealing with there, then the 22 long rifle can be a very, very good choice for a go-to cartridge to handle the situations that you're wanting to handle. Now, yeah, I think one of the biggest issues with 22 long rifle is a lack of power, but like I said before, proper shot placement, you can overcome that. If you hit a part of the body that is absolutely and immediately essential, like the neurological system or the circulatory system, not necessarily in creatures like me, but in creatures just in general on this planet, which all seem to operate along those lines if they are here on the land. If you manage to hit one of those systems, then that thing is going to be taken out pretty gosh darn rapidly, even with a 22 long rifle. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share, description below, link to all sorts of stuff. You guys go ahead and check that out, and have a good day, I guess. I got a bunch of guns here from a previous video I gotta bring inside. I got a Mauser, I got an SKS, I got a freaking Stormgewehr, I gotta bring all this stuff inside. So I'm gonna take care of that. You guys go off, have a fantastic day. I'll see y'all on the next episode. Since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garrett. Shame that bolt action shotguns aren't more mainstream.